separates into like 6 different directions, so you get a lot of stuff happening. There we go. Yeehaw.
It's a good thing I did that because I didn't have my mic on. This thing's crap.
That would have been really unfortunate.
I know, right? God.
It would have been like that one time where you had to do like mime and write in the chat.
I actually kind of like that. That's kind of fun. That one.
Well.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Waffle Talk. This is the show. Hey, look, a trooper. Ah, awesome. This is the show where we talk about the newest episode of Dice Camera Action, the D&D show run by the great Chris Perkins. Their show airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the D&D channel, and then we talk about it. So if you type anything in the chat, that will appear on the screen, so please feel free to make comments or ask questions, and we'll try to address them as they pop up during the show. So, Shauna, can you give a little rundown of what happened on episode 117?
All right, so this episode begins where the other ended, with the charred corpse of Father Sunbright. And Diath is, of course, arrested because he was the only person in there. As you know, it doesn't look good when you're the only person with a body, and literally swept it under the rug to try and hide it. So in apparently pretty swift Waterdeep justice, Diath is arrested, jailed, and is set to put on trial. The Waffle crew kind of stumbles on themselves trying to negotiate the legal system in Waterdeep. And Paulton and Evelyn try to represent Diath in the leading up to the trial, and Strix goes to the Blackstaff and sees if she wants to, anything that she can do. While they're away, Diath is swiftly brought to trial. Despite everything that the Waffle crew did, Diath is found not guilty of the Father Sunbright, but he is brought charges on the missing wine, which was apparently a very expensive
of all the things
wine.
Yeah.
And Diath, being the sad boy that he is, takes the rap, which makes Strix angry and leaves Paulton and Evelyn in an odd situation. And leading up, so Diath is basically taken down into the bad jail cells in under Castle Waterdeep, where he has a one-on-one encounter with Jarl Axel, who, in a very pleasant and yet threatening way, says, "Stay out of Lady Rosnar's quest to get the dragons. That's their thing, and just to let it go, leave it alone." And that's kind of where we ended. Diath's in jail. Strix isn't sleeping at the Waffle House, and it's just Paulton and Evelyn now. And that's where we're at.
Yep.
Anybody got any hot takes on this episode?
Player characters should not encounter the law in D&D at all, ever. It never ends well. This at least ended with Diath only being in jail for 10 days and not being charged with not being guilty of Father Sunbright, so that's something at least.
Not another execution. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I actually thought that this episode was a really good, like, I almost want to say like it was a master class on how to like present a player with like the consequences of their actions, you know, because there was Diath saying that he was the Zanna Thor came up again.
Oh yeah.
And Paulton stealing the freaking wine bottle, which of course Paulton would do that.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that Diath got in trouble for.
And
yeah,
we also got the dwarf immolation again
Yeah.
brought up.
because the
Yep,
magistrate
yep.
was a dwarf,
Yeah.
and he specifically said that.
So does Dieth have the opposite of what Evelyn has, where all the dwarves love her and like all the dwarves just like despise Dieth now?
Yeah, pretty
Seems
much.
that way, yeah.
Yeah. It's
And-
like with Mygara still out there, Mygara
Yeah.
could be killing other
God.
people, and technically those people could blame Diath too.
I wish they would ask like what that situation is, because it could be either it's like, oh, we contained it, or that thing has a horrible death count now. We have lost several dwarven cities.
I mean, from the sound of it, they said that Nagar is still rampaging through the north.
That's not great.
So, and I don't really know, like, who they would get. Like, I mean, the Forgotten Realms has a lot of powerful wizards and heroes and what have you, but like I don't know who they'd get to specifically contain Megara.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't lead an army against this big lava creature.
I think Mygara was in. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the mountain. Mount Hotenau, Hotenau,
Yeah.
Hot.
Neverwinter, and he was
Yeah.
linked with Valindra, the
Mhm.
Shadow Mantle, the Lich.
Yep.
So maybe Mygara went back there and is messing with the people of Neverwinter, the
I mean-
Neverwinterians, or whatever you call them. People who
Lord
live in
Neverember deserves it. So
Yeah. You know.
Neverwinter's like all messed up already. So
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Everyone has been messed up over and over again, so it's
I hope
You
the
know,
group
having
goes,
a
I hope
magma thing.
hope the group goes to Neverwinter. That'd be cool.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I do wonder, because they've brought up Dagult, Neverember, and I mean the whole plot of Dragon Heist is about Neverember and the gold he embezzled and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
So I do wonder if Wizards of the Coast is going to do something, with like Neverwinter and Luskin and stuff like that
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah. It would be good to have those cities defined as much as they're doing with like Waterdeep, or having,
Yeah,
because they always kind of like occupy like a similar, like Waterdeep before this has kind of operated in a similar way as like Neverwinter. I kind of get them confused and kind of like interchangeable.
Neverwinter is like a shattered city.
yeah.
Waterdeep is kind of like a city that's used to adventurers and magic being a part of their lives. Although so is Neverwinter. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, they're both adventure cities. Yeah.
I think Neverwinter has the whole thing with it's a occupied city almost,
Mhm.
because like Lord Neverember and his troops and like the nobles he brought with him like aren't native to Neverwinter at all. So it just like an army rolled in and took over Neverwinter.
Mhm.
And then they had, I know in the 4th edition Neverwinter campaign setting or whatever, there were like orcs and aboleths and freaking. I know that House Zorlarin, which Kozin is actually from, back before the dwarves retook Gauntlgrim, where Megara was contained. Like they were there. Bragendareth was there because Jarlaxle's and Luskin, just all sorts of stuff.
Sima says, "Hey, we got that good Ace Attorney content. We did.
Yes.
We
SEPA
did.
and SEPA law firm is
my God.
in effect. Look at Trooper says, wasn't Neverwinter sort of like the main Forgotten Realms hub in 4th edition? I wasn't keeping up much with the game during that period, but it seemed that way. Sort of. Yeah. I mean, they made a whole source book about it.
Yeah.
They made the game, the online
The game. I
about
mean,
it.
they made the Neverwinter Nights games back in 3.5. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Neverwinter Encounters season was really good. Like they had this white dragon encrusted with magic runes, and there was something about the lost crown of Neverwinter that you had to find, which was in or near the Never Death Cemetery. I love everything's Never. I love.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Always be Brandon.
Yeah.
And I ran that with a kid who was homeschooled, and he's a weird little kid, but he was really cool. And his character's name was Golden Bloodblade.
It's a good
And
name.
I'm like, hey, let me see your character sheet, right? So he like has this crumpled up piece of paper, and it's just got like gibberish on it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, this kid has no idea how to play D&D. And so I'm like, all right, well, whatever, you know. And so I'm like, what do you do, Golden Bloodblade? And he would always want to do something like crazy, and then we'd figure it out with the rules. And I don't know, there's some time where there was moss on a tower, and he like licked it or something, and he thought that was the funniest freaking thing in the world. And I was like, I love this kid. So everything he did was like, Golden Bloodblade stomps down the street and there's shockwaves everywhere. That guy is awesome. I love that kid. So yeah, Neverwinter was cool, man. Neverwinter in 4th was pretty cool. You know,
Yeah.
I do hope we see it again, actually, in 5th. Even though I'm like, you know, I'm not a big Realms guy, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
We're in the Realms.
Neither am I.
Neither.
What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? We're in the Realms.
Yeah, most of the stuff I learned about
We're doing the dragon.
Faerun has been like in the last 2 years, so.
This whole session was kind of based on the code legal, which is right here. The very back of Dragon Age, page 222, code legal. They've got the actual laws there, which is such a hard thing for a DM to handle. I mean, and I've always wanted to see a D&D trial. And so we sort of got to see one. It wasn't like, I want to see one where it's like it's the whole trial, you know, like you make your case, they make their case, there's opening statements, and you go over the evidence, and there's a jury, and there's like jury tampering, you know, there's all, you know, and there's like dramatic, like, you know, and statements on the stand, you know, and you get Mark Furman up there, you know what I mean, like the whole thing, and then you know, you have the closing statements and the final verdict. And it's like in D&D, somebody could and should make a supplement on the DM's Guild about running a courtroom session.
Oh yeah,
because it's all skill checks, right? So if you have the procedure down, and if you can incorporate what spells are okay to use in a court setting or in an investigation, you could make a really cool adventure. But I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not.
It's difficult because like every time I've had a group go through like some sort of legal thing, it's a matter of like the PC's patience before it ends up becoming a murder fest, or they just wait until the trial's over and break them out.
That is true. But I do think that something like that would be really cool, and I think it would probably be easier if like the whole party was on trial and not just, you know, like DF.
Yeah.
You know,
because I mean, God, Dieth honestly is the worst one to put up on the stand. He'll just like, you bring up enough like things that he's done, he's just gonna say yes to anything, like he did with the wine. Just poor boy.
Look at Troopa. I think that was what was technically the first very short-lived D&D podcast I followed. Took place in Neverwinter. Oh, okay. Yeah, Neverwinter's cool. Simon Wyson, Paul should technically pay 1,000 gold and get house arrest for his mass suggestion. Really? Oh, that was.
Yeah, you can't magically compel an
Yeah, that's real bad. Yeah,
really?
That's if anybody finds out about it, though.
There it is. Using magic to influence a lord without consent. Imprisonment up to a year, and fine or damages up to 1,000 gold.
Yeah, because he got lucky that they all failed, because it's like he could have, the amount of people that he suggested, that could have been real bad. That could have just been like, well, we got 2 people on trial now.
Okay, and this is actually using magic to influence an official without consent. Fine or damages up to 1,000 gold pieces, and edict. Okay, edict is forbidding the convicted from doing something. Violation of an edict can result in imprisonment, hard labor, or a fine. Oh, okay.
So basically just a slap on the wrist. Don't do that again.
Well, the edict should be stop drinking.
I think I don't...
Should go to jail.
Fair.
He's going to go to jail real quick.
Yeah. I'm trying, was he sober this?
He's never sober.
Actually, I think.
Oh, no.
I mean, more so than usual.
He's never sober, ever.
That's true.
Look at Troopa. Can't really think of any legal court-appropriate spells outside of Zone of Truth. Well, Speak with Dead would be a big one, right?
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about D&D is, like, all of that stuff is flipped on its head because any murder trial, Speak with Dead, like completely changes a murder investigation, you know.
Yeah.
So and then
And
there's all the spells that could help you find clues.
Yeah, I was about to say, locate object, locate creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could even do stuff like detect poison or something, like if someone tries to poison a
Yeah.
witness or whatever, you know.
I should do
Mhm.
that. That's just a character I should make, a detective. All my spells are to solve crimes.
Mhm.
I mean, in Eberron, there's a house. Oh crap!
Oh,
House Darash and House Madani, who are
Madani.
both.
Yeah, Madani.
Yeah, who are both in that vein, you know.
Let's see, Sima influencing an official, not at the end. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the court. Yeah. All right. I got a bunch of notes here. So first of all, yeah, I had a question. Why is Diaz so upset about being put in a cell?
It's got to be something because he's been especially kind of like tight-lipped about that. Like it's come up a lot, and he's been super reluctant to even say anything about it. So it has to be like some sort of reveal of why it bothers him that much. Because he was pretty much like semi-catatonic being in there.
Yeah.
Somebody noted on the subreddit. This was a very interesting thing to me. Some people were kind of talking about blaming Paulton because Paulton stole that wine bottle from the crime scene.
Yeah.
And that's what Dieth got arrested for. And the thing about Dieth is he's a rogue, but he doesn't steal. He's never stolen. He's declared that up front. He's not that kind of a rogue. He's a guy. He's like a Tomb Raider kind of a rogue.
Yeah.
And he just got convicted of theft. And it's kind of like that's something his character is against. And it only happened because of Paulton. And Paulton was going to try to take the rap for it, but Diaz just went ahead and took it. And people were thinking that there's going to be tension once Diaz gets out.
I don't know if it's going to necessarily come from Diaz because I think Diaz is used to covering for. Like it wasn't like Paulton maliciously doing something to Diaz or something like that. He just like I think he didn't want another one of his friends like implicated in being in that room because that would have definitely been something. I think most of it, if anything, is going to come from Paulton and Strix.
Yeah, that's definitely what it seemed like at the end of the episode. Yeah.
Because I mean, like Paulton went to a bar and he was talking, breaking the fourth wall, talking about how he doesn't want to be the villain. He thought that was done with the whole Ring of Winter storyline. So I think he felt like this guilty. Yeah. So it's a weird thing because Nate is running his character like Deadpool. So taking a bottle of wine from a crime scene is just a goofy thing, right, to him. It's just, hey, look what I did. But Chris is playing out the consequences of that. And I know Jared knows what's going on there. And so it's weird. It's like, was the bottle taken because Paulton is selfish? Or was this taken because Nate's playing kind of a funny, rule-breaking character?
I mean, because I think he's done that. He's taken bottles and just drank them before, and it's gotten him kind of like there's been no consequences for that. It's just something that he does.
Yeah,
and it probably caught him off guard that was specifically brought up, and that's. I mean, yeah, it feels like it's something he always does, and no one's basically said. It's been like just this little thing that he does, and just it got his friend in trouble.
Yeah,
it's just a little weird because he's breaking the fourth wall. He knows this is just a game. And so when he gets sort of punished for that, it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe he shouldn't run his character like that. You know what I mean? Like, I felt a little like, like as a fan, I'm not mad or, I'm never mad. But I mean, like if I was in the game, I wouldn't be mad at Paulton for that because
No.
That was not. Here's why. If Nate knew that theft was going to be played out like a legit theft, he would not have taken the bottle. He would not have. I don't think he would have done that.
I don't think so either.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I would never be mad at Nate about that, because
which I think is part of the reason that Paulton was like going to take the fall for it, because like it was sort of a mistake on his part.
Yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't be mad at Nate.
But there was some discussion in the subreddit of people who were like a little upset about it.
I think there's things that are everyone's okay with, everyone kind of buys into. I think it's one of those things where it's like it's how it goes. Even like stuff that happens between like when they're mad or with the Neverwinter stuff, it's allowed because everyone's bought into it, and it's like as long as that's happening, it's fine. Like character stuff has been like that.
I feel like when it comes to handling Paulton, that and this is hard, and I don't know but if anybody could do it, Chris could do it, is to handle him while keeping the fourth wall breaking in consideration. Like, you know how he had the Zanna Thor could also break the fourth wall? You know what I mean? I think maybe the best way to it would be a fun experiment. Every session, plant something in there, like a fourth wall breaking thing, like an item or a clue or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a tweet in real life that Paulton somehow finds, like maybe Paulton gets access to Twitter or something for one episode, you know what I mean? And Chris posts something on Twitter, that kind of thing. Because it's almost like I feel like the rules should be a little different for Paulton and what he's held accountable for, or they need to be clarified. Maybe that's all.
If there's anybody that's comfortable with, I think it's Chris, because the way that he's run the acquisitions things, it's been like that. Like there's that game has always like towed the line a little bit as far as like fourth wall. Like that's where the witch streaming stuff came in.
Right.
That's where in the live shows they visited Wizards of the Coast and they met Chris Perkins.
Yeah.
Practicing that. So I think it's in good hands with that.
Yeah.
I think maybe they should like develop that more somehow. Like if Paulton somehow can see the chat like in a crystal ball or something like that, or there might be a lot of weird fun things he could do with it. I mean, it might get out of hand if you're not careful, but a little bit I think would be really fun.
Like it would be fun if they do another like crossover thing with the main acquisitions, like Paulton just says something offhand about Chris Perkins, and like those characters know who that character is or that person is. It's like, what?
Let's see. Look, Troop, you could argue that tomb raiding is stealing. That is true. Sima, I think Paulton is mainly on Paulton is on very thin ice with Evelyn.
Yeah. I think it's not even like the bottle. It's that she was really trying really hard to like get to get DF through the legal system, and she had to spend a lot of time trying to like I guess rein Paulton in, who was kind of not taking the whole thing seriously.
Yeah. Well, and also I think this is the very first instance where Paulton said something that really bothered Evelyn. Last episode, Paul made a comment about how they're in a church and you shouldn't believe anything in a church or something along those lines of just religion is phony, BS or whatever. And she took that very seriously, like whoa. And she still isn't. She mentioned it this time around.
Yeah,
and it was the first time, and somebody actually mentioned that on the subreddit. Let's see, where was it? People seem to like that Evelyn is no longer putting up with Paulton's stuff.
There was that little comment before about the this is what I do sort of things, like, and then I think it seemed like they could have the chance of like, you're a paladin, you just hit things. It's like, and there was that point where like, I think Anna was prepared to like have Evelyn be mad at what, but then like Paulton said something that didn't lead up to that. That was interesting. I think there is that thing where she is more willing to like stand up for herself.
Yeah,
regarding Paulton's behavior.
And what was weird was like Paulton called his imaginary law firm SEPA and SEPA, and Evelyn was the other SEPA. Normally this would have been like a big happy thing for Evelyn, but she was not having it, none of it, because of what he said, and it was like, whoa, it's kind of like they hit a turn all of a sudden, you know. She finally she finally found her tolerance level, you know, was finally exceeded. He finally found like a button to push that was just, you shouldn't have pushed that button, you know.
It's fair. Very fair.
And now it's kind of like he's kind of backpedaling, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there, because she's not happy, and he's not the type to say he's sorry or change in any way, or he's not one for reflection, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's kind of like, you know, like they used to say with George W. Bush, right? You know, he's not a self-reflective person. He's not going to sit. Although with the Ring of Winter, he did. He was regretted that and learned from that.
True.
Yeah, I'm curious what next episode is going to be like when they kind of like kind of reconvert, they come back to the house, because it's like it's different than the Ring of Winter, because the Ring of Winter he at least had the thing of I'm being like compelled by a thing, but like Strix is out of anybody more willing to like call him on his stuff. And
true, yeah,
it makes her, I think if Diath kind of just like push it on the rug, I think she'll defend him like even more like viciously.
Yeah.
Look at Troop, considering half the tombs in the world have undead folks still in there. Yeah. Sima, Paulton was trying to steal to get back at Sunbright for being mean before Sunbright got poisoned, right? To quote Jared, bad move, brother. Is that what Paulton was? Is that why he stole it? I thought he just stole it just because he drinks a lot.
I don't remember.
I don't. Yeah.
It was a 200 gold bottle of wine. That's
very nice.
Yeah.
That's a very, you know what? You make 2 gold a day in D&D, so that's
supposedly
that's months and months. That's many months pay for most people. God,
which I think definitely shows like the opulence that Father Sunbright brought to the Church of Lathander. You know,
if the average pay in America is what, 40 or 50,000 a year, then that means that was like a $10,000 bottle of wine that he stole, basically.
Or
wow, right? You know, like,
jeez, yeah, no kidding.
From the freaking 1300s.
He's lucky he didn't steal a poison bottle.
That's true. Yeah.
Unless he hasn't drank it yet. Has he? I don't think he has.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I don't know if he drank it. He might not have drank it. Well, it's weird that they didn't ask him to hand it over.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
They just
because he brought up Gnarl's ledger that he has that with like all the Zanna Thor's activities in it, and they asked him to bring that forward like in due time.
Yeah.
But the wine bottle they stole. Yeah, that is weird.
I guess maybe they figured it's gone now. It's obviously
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
So the church has got a new leader that's going to be there soon. She's a drow. Her name is Talastin. And on this episode, we learned that she should be able to raise Father Sunbright once she gets there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of...
She's high level.
Yeah, there's not a lot of resurrections going around, unfortunately.
So I would guess maybe... I'm kind of wondering... All right, so next episode, right? Diath is in prison for 10 days. Is Chris going to hand wave those 10 days, or will he do an episode where Diaz is in jail. It would be interesting. An episode where Diaz is in jail and the rest of the group is doing other stuff. And it'd be kind of like the episodes where Paulton was creeping around Castle Ravenloft while the rest of the group was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Diaz being alone like that, like as we've mentioned, like with his fear of like enclosed spaces or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think that might provide like a window into the whys of that and some of his backstory stuff we don't know, you know.
And
like it could be like in Game of Thrones when Tyrion is in prison before his trial by combat, and like people come and visit him, and we get a lot of information about, you know, like their relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
When he was arrested, did he have all his gear on him?
He probably
Probably.
did.
So that means that Gutter and the keys are just sitting in the water
Impounded, yeah.
Impound?
Yeah.
With like low-level guards guarding it?
Probably. I mean, they probably have something.
Good.
They probably have something for like magic, magic.
It's true.
Like that. There's probably enough. You said enough like wizards to jail. You got to have something.
Somebody mentioned on the subreddit, it was Kendolph the Grey, that Diaz he's got that magic dagger Moon Splitter, which he can summon to his hand at any time. So they were saying that he could have attacked Jarlaxle when Jarlaxle was in his cell. But I don't think that would have gone too
That
far.
would have been bad. That would have.
He probably didn't have his armor, right?
Diaz is a fragile man.
Also, I don't know why they would attack Jarlaxle. Like, from what happened in this episode, I don't think Bragan Dareth is responsible for killing Father Sunbright. And I think Jarlaxle, like Holly said, why is Jarlaxle being so nice and stuff? Like, that's just who he is, you know? Like, he's interested in these go-getter Waffle crew. He just doesn't want them getting in the way of him getting the gold, you know? Because I think he was sincere about coming to the Trollskull Manor and like having food and stuff.
Because I mean, like, they're a obstacle right now, but I mean, could be useful. You know, you don't want to. You don't want to avoid potential like opportunities for that sort of thing. So
who was the wizard with the mohawk?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The dude with the bowler hat and the mustache in the courtroom during the trial, was that Jarlaxle? I'm pretty sure it was.
JB Nevercaught, maybe.
JB Nevercaught.
God, that's such a That's such a good name. That's such a good name for your alias.
Should have been it. Should have been JB Nevercaught.
God,
that was like as soon as Chris mentioned this one dude in the courtroom, I was like, interesting.
Simon says the fine for stealing is returning the item and paying the worth of it. Instead, they asked for paying double the worth, so the law probably thinks Diaz lost or consumed the bottle.
It's like, you can't borrow food. I guess food and drink
from a crime scene.
No, I mean like as far as like you can't. Like, I want it back.
Yeah.
Good point.
Stole it. Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. Double the value. Wow. That's crazy. That's like a guy I play. He gave me advice. If you ever get robbed, double when you tell the police what got stolen, like double it. And what was funny is I ended up getting robbed, and I did do that.
Okay.
I mean, wait, I'm not admitting to anything. I'm just joking, but I could see that it would have worked if I had done it.
Yeah.
I got a new laptop. You know.
Did you guys did y'all see there's something that Chris did with the kind of like rein in, like I haven't necessarily seen that with persuasion checks. Like how he dealt with Paulton's like incredibly high persuasion with the guards was that your persuasion isn't like an automatic get out of jail free for your decisions. Like, you know, it's not like a charm spell, like where because Paulton wanted to convince the guard that he was a attorney, and he got like a good number. But then the guard's like, where are your papers at?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, that's something that you
That's
I mean,
funny
it
because
doesn't.
like that's
They're
weird.
still inquisitive.
Like in D&D, I mean, your character could go up to someone and say, "I'm Zeus" or whatever, and you roll a 25, but that doesn't mean that it works. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I fell into that trap playing a bard. It's like your persuasion is so high. It's like you just get very like, nah, I'll just do this. It's like you're gonna get in trouble for this. You can't just.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just stuff like that. Like you need officiation
Mhm.
of what you're saying, but like there are in some of the D&D books, like there's stuff where like an NPC might like being intimidated better than persuaded, or like intimidation would never work on this person because
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
So like no matter what you get, like it might not have the effect you think it will.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
you. Don't want mouth bugs in their wine? Oh, from stealing.
Ugh.
Actually,
Gross.
is
Ugh.
medical magic science up to the point where people are afraid of getting microbial diseases yet? I think Evelyn is immune to disease, right? At this point.
She is.
Yeah.
Paladin. She's probably immune.
Paladins get that early.
Yeah, it's a good.
Disease
Yeah.
in D&D is a little different because it can be cured with a spell,
Yeah.
but it costs money. I know in the Pathfinder Adventure Path Curse of the Crimson Throne, the second book is all about a plague that hits the city, and it's freaking awesome. And there's actually like this huge line to the church so people can get cured. But I mean, it costs money, and there's only so many people who can cast it, and they can only cast it a few times a day.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So a whole city is still a problem. It was
Yeah.
awesome the way they handled it. They do awesome stuff. Let's see here. Yeah, I was wondering about Diaz freaking out being in a cell.
Mhm.
There was
oh,
something that happened while he was in there that I want to bring up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which was that someone whispered under his door, Erstal Floxen,
Mhm.
who's a member of the Zentarum,
Mhm.
who I know is in Dragon Heist
Mhm.
and is kind of important later.
Mhm.
So it does bring up the fact that Erstal Floxen was the one who was talking about implicating the Waffle crew with doppelgangers. So I part of me really thinks that the Zentarum might be behind this whole murder thing.
Mm.
Elsewise, how would he even know that Diaz was there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
I don't know what I should spoil.
yeah, they were watching, weren't they? I mean, they've been watching them.
He's on page
Yeah, that's true.
216 of the book. I'll just say non-spoiler stuff. He's a
Okay.
glorified thug with all the charm and breeding of a snake. And he's a large, heavy-set man in his 40s. He storms around like he owns the place. I won't say anything else. Ooh, he's got good stats. And yeah, I won't say anything else. But he has friends in high places, I think. That's what I can say. So, Oh, we're about like this season started episode 91. So we're on 117 now, right? So we're almost 30 episodes in.
Yeah.
So this season is going to be 60 episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if in a few, I don't think they are. I was wondering if in a few episodes they're going to switch to Mad Mage, which just came out, which I haven't really looked at yet. But
It's a dense, awesome book.
I've looked through some of it. It's interesting.
It's in the game stores. You can get it right now. It's gigantic. It's like a 20-level dungeon.
There is stuff that Chris has mentioned on DCA in there. I will say. Oh yeah.
Like what? Anything you can say?
There is a level with vampires and Char worshippers that might come up.
I'm wondering if the way they're gonna incorporate it is gonna be like a side quest thing, rather than like a little thing they do on the offshoot of the heist. Because you can just like have them deal with, if the Char stuff is dealing with Lathander or like evil and stuff.
Yeah.
Do that and then get back onto the line of the Dragon Heist. Because they don't need to spend all their time down there.
That's true. And I don't think that, like, unless you're playing Mad Mage like alone on its own, like that's one thing, being an Undermountain all the time. But I do think if you're playing it as like a sequel to Dragon Heist or as a part of an ongoing campaign, like you really do need that link to the rest of the world.
Yeah, because
But it does seem like the Dragon Heist stuff is sort of coming to a head with like Rajnar getting all the keys and stuff, and everybody sort of convening towards the vault.
Yeah, we're starting to get multiple like people like very interested in bringing up the vault constantly. Also,
Yeah.
the dwarf stuff's starting to get more brought in more often.
Yeah, but I mean, like 30 episodes would be episode 121, right?
Yep.
I don't think
It's not that far away.
I don't think this will be done. Will it? You think?
What
And,
the
and I think what this
Waterdeep?
means is we're gonna see more of Vivid Vivka. She's gonna be back. She runs
I think
Lady
so.
Rajnar. So
Yeah.
she was specifically mentioned by Jarlaxle. So which is good because I like she's awesome. I like the Esvel DF team. But now it's gonna be like it's a thing because she wants the treasure and Dieth wants it for the dwarves. So they both are going after it, so they're gonna probably butt heads, I guess.
And I mean Jarlaxle and the Zentarum want it too.
Yeah.
So
it could be like a very tricky kind of like end situation where you got 4 or 5 groups that are really interested in getting that gold.
Does she have any special reason that she wants the gold?
She hasn't said that.
I don't think, right? It's a lot of money.
I think it's just because money, and it might help her family, maybe. You know, in the sort of bad place they're in right now.
That's true. Yeah. Hold on, let me see. She's also in Dragon Heist right there. Black Viper.
Black Viper.
Everybody knows she's Black Viper now, so I can say that.
Yeah,
that's on page 196. The Rajnar family was convicted of slave trading.
That's
highly illegal in Waterdeep and banished over 100 years ago, but has since returned. Their inability to regain the respect they feel they deserve rankles them. As part of the family's constant effort to prove this conception wrong, Esvel has been brought up to be the most proper noble possible, partaking in lessons of etiquette, dance, and poise as befits someone of her station. So, yeah.
Fancy.
That doesn't say a lot about the treasure, though.
I do think I was looking through earlier, and I know that on one of the seasons, like she plays, I think it's like I think she like lives in the place where the vault is in one of the thingies, and like the party might run into her, and she like tries to cut a deal with them, like even split or something like that.
Sima says, I can't wait till Paulton actually gets his lawyer's degree and destroys the court next time they get into a mess with the law. How's Paulton going to pass the bar?
I don't.
Mass suggestion.
That's a lot of studying and a lot of like not fun.
Unless it's actually in a bar. That's the only way.
Oh boy.
Look at Truba. My guess is that they'll combine Mad Mage with Dragon Heist as a book to pull from whenever stuff comes up throughout the rest of the season. Yeah, probably. I feel like there's no way they're gonna wrap up this gold thing, and they could though. Chris has done that. 4 episodes. This is 4 episodes. It's 4 sessions.
It really does depend on how fast Chris wants to do it, you know.
Or
There's
what
no hurry. There's no hurry.
Or what the party wants to do, depending if they want to just go.
Hey, what do you think? For me, this season has not dragged at all. Has it dragged for you at all? Because really, if you think about the last 30 episodes, a lot of them were just they're in their house and something attacks them. That's, I guess.
Yeah.
I have never been. There was parts of other seasons that felt like a bit of a drag. Like if something went on for too long, I'd be like, all right, come on, let's get out of here. Like Iron Slag, I felt like, it was like, all right, I'm ready to move on. But like this, I don't have any of that feeling at all for this whole season. Have you guys felt anything like that, or?
I think the stuff where they were at the house and they got attacked like every session, and it was just the same thing, and they didn't like do anything about it. I don't know that it dragged for me, but it was kind of annoying. Like just as an audience member, like I just want to like push them and go do something about this, please.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar place too, where it's like that section it felt a little for me, but like where I get a little bit like just kind of like It was like the Iron Slag where the combat that lasted for like 4. It's a little. It's a lot of like just okay, everyone's getting attacked. But I have been really enjoying the them interacting with the city because we haven't seen that a lot from them. We've not seen that at all from them. Having them be in a place where they're mostly from, but they still kind of feel kind of like outsiders in there.
I have really enjoyed that, yeah, and I think that that's part of what Dragon Heist is, like you get a business and you enjoy the city life. Yeah, you go to ChairCon and what have you.
I feel like Chris does a good job of. He doesn't forget about loose ends. They do eventually come back around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how they had the Chickenfoot Coven and the hag showed up or whatever she was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we're gonna hear from that hag again, and it might not be for 50 episodes, but we will probably, in some shape or form, something will come of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
I've been enjoying the domestic stuff a little bit too, where they're kind of like living, kind of like trying their best to like have something. Because I don't think that's gonna last very much longer. I think this is gonna be this season and the remainder of like the thing. I don't think they're gonna have the ability to sell down like that again. This is gonna be a good break.
They haven't leveled in a long time either, have they?
What level are they? They're level 11 still?
They're 11. It's
okay.
Things get a little nuts at above like 12.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
That is high level D&D. It's supposed
the
to be
high level D&D is going to be like nuts. So
I think if you are doing this by XP,
yeah,
they don't get a lot of XP, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one fight per episode, so you know what I mean. They wouldn't be getting that much XP anyway, so it makes sense that they wouldn't level.
I do think that Chris is the kind of DM who gives like XP for role playing. So I would say they've definitely gotten amount of XP for every episode.
Yeah.
This episode.
It is hard to judge XP for role playing because it's like so subjective. But
this is an episode where, in the old days there was arguments about individual XP. So since Strix just went to Blackstaff Tower, she really wouldn't have gotten much XP at all. While Paulton probably would have gotten more. And they'd end up different levels if that kind of thing continued.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
Simon points out that they killed a beholder, and that would get them a lot of XP.
That's true. They did.
Yeah.
Oh, so at Steel Toes, I'm pretty sure they ran into him when they went down there to fight Zanna Thor, and the group forgot him because they saw him in court, and I think the players didn't remember him. But I think when they went to the
Cozen ran into the Zanna Thor's lawyer down there too. What's his name? Frebernecker.
Frent Ebernecker.
Frent Ebernecker. That's what it is.
Yeah. He did. He ran into Frent down there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because the lady who got arrested when the kids took waffles and stuff, Zanna Thor was like talking to him to get her out of jail, I believe.
Oh, so Frent Ebernecker is their mob lawyer.
Yes. Yes, he is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Frent Ebernecker represents Steel Toes, and that was a weird thing because when they went down there, Diaz told the bad guys, "I am the Zanna Thor now. I killed the Zanna Thor. Now I am the Zanna Thor." So it makes perfect sense that this would come back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Steel Toes believed him, and so Steel Toes came to court and said that yes, he is the. And some of them still probably believe it.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of said, "I'm the Zanna Thor," then just kind of pieced out and never came back again.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Ott and Amerigo have seen so many Zanna Thors. I don't really blame them.
Yeah, just like just keep going. Someone's gonna get replaced. Cool. And keep going.
I do find it kind of funny that it's very common knowledge, I think, in the D&D community that the Zanna Thor is a beholder, but like in game, no one knows he's a beholder.
Yeah.
Which I do find kind of funny.
Okay. We're running out of time. There's a whole bunch of subreddit things I wanted to get to. So in the Dice Camera Action subreddit, there's a couple things people mentioned that I thought I wanted to run by you. Is it possible that Jarlaxle disguised himself as Randall Morn and then turned himself into the Mohawk Wizard on the way out? But again, you brought up something I don't have an answer for. Why would Jarlaxle kill Father Sunbright? What does he care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he care at all? Right?
Which it's strange because I know Jarlaxle has had disguise, so he can, take on whatever form. But
Yeah.
a doppelganger can do that too. So it's and if I don't know. I think if it was Jarlaxle, I don't think he would have come and told Diath Andrew Morn killed Father Sunbright,
It's entirely possible that the answer to this is right in this book, and I haven't
Oh, no.
gotten to it.
It is possible.
Pretty
But
sure the Spires of the Morning are in here, right?
more than likely, they are one of the more important temples. So.
Yeah. Well, I won't be able to find it now, but I'll definitely have to look. Spires of the Morning. That's in the Castle Ward, which is right here. Yeah. Oh, all right. The glorious Spires of the Morning, dedicated to Lathander, is one of Waterdeep's most beautiful temples. Oh, then they jump to the Temple of the Seldarine. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right.
Fine. All right. Maybe not. But okay, so the other thing I was thinking was, all right, so if it wasn't Jarlaxle who set him up, Randall Morn, this Morn guy could just be his own crazy.
True.
This might be an Amonitor thing.
Yeah.
But the Zentrim were ready in the prison. Well, the Zentrim meddled with the trial, and then when he got thrown in the actual prison, a Zentrim, Urstel Floxen, threatened him.
Yeah.
So it's possible that the Zentrim were behind the setup.
I mean, there's so many possibilities of who it could be. I mean, it could also be like maybe if they wanted to get them involved, like Shar people.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that too, because I mean, Andrew Morn's initials are AM, which are the same as Artur Morlin, the vampire dude. So
oh yeah, I didn't realize that. Oh,
I really don't know.
Oh, could be.
And I did check Dungeon of the Mad Mage. There is a mention of him in there. I will just say that.
Oh.
I will just say that.
Nice.
All right, cool. Well, we'll probably find out. You put all the clues together.
I know. I'm so excited.
Zofix on the subreddit said that the group without Diath are incompetent wrecks. True or false?
I think Dieth is the unifying factor, and I think Evelyn, is getting a little bit like Evelyn and Paulton are getting a little more comfortable with being the one to lead the plan. But yeah, they just kind of I think they default to him, but they're not incompetent. I think they just have vastly different ways, especially with this one. Like Evelyn wants to do it legally. Paulton's just kind of trying to charisma his way through it. And Strix's knowledge of the legal system is friggin' Sigil, and that's she has a different way of going about it.
Which isn't the best legal system.
No.
All right. Tarumo said, I don't really agree with this, but they felt that Chris wanted Diath in jail, and that it was going to happen no matter what. I didn't get that. Well, it was kind of like he got framed for murder, but the judgment seemed a little arbitrary. Like the judge just decided, I don't, it wasn't based on evidence. It was based on a gut feeling, right?
Which is the danger of the Waterdeep legal system. Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Part of me sort of agrees with that, just because I think Chris understands it's more interesting for Diath to go to jail almost.
Yeah.
That play out. But he also wasn't sent to jail for the murder,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where he's doing something negative to kind of like spotlight the player, like the PCs, because
Yeah.
going to jail brings up the claustrophobia with Diaz, and it also puts Paulton in a position where he's responsible for something that seemed innocuous at first. So there's a little bit of like guilt in there. So it could have gone jail, but I mean, the jail thing is such like a slap on the wrist in comparison to like what could have happened.
That's true.
People in the subreddit seem generally to like that Evelyn wasn't putting up with all of Paulton's stuff. You know what I mean? Just in general.
Yeah.
She kind of, had her fill of Paulton.
It's understandable considering that all this stuff happened in like a day. Like her mentor died. There's a schism in the like, church. Her friend is potentially going to be like executed.
Yeah,
it's a bad day for Evelyn. Like there's not a lot of patience there. I think she probably could have like pushed that off like in better situation, but I think she's at her like wit's end of like her world kind of like being in peril.
Yeah. Hold on. Sima, as far as I can see, it was a combination of Chris wanted Diaz in jail, but more importantly, Nate didn't want to interrupt Chris, and then everyone just left the courtroom. The judge had a grudge against Diaz for the whole fire primordial thing. Yeah. I felt like Chris had a number of things up his sleeve. He was ready for this, and he had kind of thought it through. And, I mean, I think that if the group did something clever and got out of it, he probably would have let them get out of it. And Aya, hi Aya, how are you? If Diaz let him, Paulton would have gone to jail. Which, I bet Chris was ready for that, definitely, right? Because
I mean,
if Paulton had taken credit for it, they probably would have just thrown Paulton in jail. I guess. But I'm glad.
Paulton and Jarlaxle. Oh boy.
Diaz went to jail for Paulton's theft. That is interesting. I'm kind of glad it worked out like that. Yeah. But
10 days.
I feel like that was what I was thinking. Paulton needs after Paulton's comment about the religion. That illustrates a significant rift between him and Evelyn. Right? That's true. That goes right. That's like Evelyn's whole life. And he revealed that he thinks of it as a fraud or a lie. And that didn't sit well at all. And that's to me, that seems like that's something that's not going to get glossed over. And what's weird is, here's what's interesting. Paulton thinks it's a fraud, right?
Yeah.
He met the Raven Queen. He knows the Raven Queen is real. He actually might have seen Lathander when he was saving Evelyn from the Soulmonger. So it's interesting. In D&D, I mean, the gods, you interact with the gods. They are real.
Yeah.
So his comment is a little strange in that context. If he's saying, maybe he was saying that the people of the church are not forthright.
Yeah.
They're not honest, and they're just doing this to make money or scam people.
Yeah, because I think there's a difference between like what the Raven Queen, these gods, or what Evelyn's doing, and the church as as an entity, as a organization. I think it's different, and I think it's just he's had his fill with that the last episode too.
He should clarify what he meant by that, because that's the thing that's not going to go away, I don't think.
And I mean, like, even though the gods are a tangible like force in a lot of D&D settings, like in Planescape, you have the Athar and the Believers of the Source and stuff, who, even though the gods exist, they don't believe in like the divinity of the gods. They're just really powerful people who have sort of taken on cults of personality and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard when people can kind of like become gods. It's like what?
Yeah, it does complicate it.
Yeah.
It does complicate it.
Sima, I would have loved to see Paulton and Jarlaxle interact, and Aya enthusiastically agrees with this.
Oh my god.
Paulton and Jarlaxle? Why?
Oh no.
Don't do anything for me.
Oh boy.
Sima, To be fair, I'm pretty sure Von Richten is a priest of Lathander, so Paulton has some reasons to mistrust the whole deal. All right.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
You
Yeah.
know what? That is a very good point because
Yeah.
his parents were killed by a priest of Lathander.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
because Evelyn's the only positive like
Maybe not killed.
church person I think he's probably encountered. So I mean,
It's true.
it's a tough road.
Yeah.
That is true.
Pretty much out of time, but I want to. Let's see. Oh, there's a moment in the church. Do you guys know what this was?
Mhm.
Paulton glowed at one point.
Yes.
Oh,
What was
The
that?
church. The law. I don't know.
I think it might have been like Zone of Truth type of dealio
What
because
was
it happened after he ran in and said, "I'm his lawyer."
Mhm.
You know?
Hmm.
Wait, was it? Do you remember what kind of check he had to make against it?
Oh,
Was it an
I
insight check?
I
don't remember. I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what that was.
Oh, and one other thing I want to mention. The Black Staff actually went to Omen
Yeah.
Dran
Mhm.
and asked Omen to just basically pardon Diath, and Omen said, "Oh yeah, maybe, yeah." And he got the paperwork and he put it in a drawer.
Yeah.
Let Dorth rot in jail.
I mean, on one hand, that's probably good because they don't need another thing to be in debt to Omen.
Mhm,
It's true.
mhm.
I do find it very nice that Vajra was willing to help them like that. Like even if the crew doesn't know it, I think it's very nice that Chris went out of his way to mention that. You
Yeah.
know?
All right, we are gonna wrap it up there. You got any plugs, Shauna?
Just Hell's Rebels on Power Square RPG Saturdays 6:30 p.m. and hopefully the group will we just got over a giant party and the group is hungover trying to lead a rebellion, so we'll see where that goes.
The end of last session was rough. Boy.
Dylan, you got any plugs?
I do. Also on Saturday on Power Square RPG at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we're doing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, where we're getting into Chapter 3, doing some faction missions and stuff. And I'm looking forward to chatting with our neighbors and going on more adventures. Yeah.
And yeah, so what's today? Thursday? So yeah, Saturday I'll have Dragon Heist at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then Hell's Rebels at 6:30 p.m. Then Sunday we'll be doing Dungeon Academy, and I don't want to say what it is yet, but I'll be running a DM's Guild thing as the group looks for the second piece of the Rod of Seven Parts. And I believe Dice Camera Action episode 118 is going to be on Tuesday on the D&D channel at 7 p.m. And you can check out the wiki on Gamepedia.com. I run that thing, and it's got all the details you need. You can go in there and add your own stuff to it if you like. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and especially thanks to everybody who made comments. I really appreciate it. And let me fire up this thingamabob, and we're gonna hit the button.
All right.
We're gonna get on out of here in a moment or three, pretty soon.
In the near future.
And if you have a game store near your house, you should go get yourself the Mad Mage and also the Ravnica book.
Yes. So
Get
good.
that as well, which was I flipped through it. It's pretty cool. I don't know anything about it, but I think I figured out a way to use it pretty soon. So
There's some good creatures in there. On there.
Yeah, the monsters are really cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So thanks everybody. See you again next week.